Hey kiddos, welcome to this week's work, which is adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. You'll see that we have 5 pages that we're going to go through, and just a couple of tips. When we are looking for the answer with our mixed numbers specifically, which is going to be our main focus, ask yourself, is this improper? When I add it, is my last number or my top number of my fraction going to be bigger than the bottom? Let's take a look at this first one. This is a great example. So I'm going to start with adding my whole numbers. Here I have a 4. Here I have nothing. So 4 plus nothing gives me 4. I know that my denominator is going to be a 6 because my denominators match. But now I need to see how many 6 I have. 3 plus 4 is 7. Right here, we see that our top number is bigger than our bottom number. Now, if you put to 4 and 7, 6, that is fantastic work. But we want to simplify this, right? Because that 6 is holding up a number that's bigger than it, and its arms are getting tired. So I want you to think, what does this 7/6 mean? Well, we know that if I have a whole or one full piece, that means I have 6 out of 6. So this is the same as 4 and 6 out of 6 plus 1 out of 6, right? Because 6 and 1 is 7. So I could also say that if I combine these, if I combine my 4 wholes and my 1 whole, I now have 5 wholes and 1 6. So these are equivalent. This top one in purple would be called an improper fraction, and this bottom would be simplified. If you got either of these answers, I'm happy. When we get to next year, it's going to be really important to simplify, but this year it's something that we're introducing you to and hoping that it's something that you start to pick up. But next year it's going to be super important. Let's take a look at our next one. We have 7 wholes and no wholes, so it's easy. 7 plus nothing is 7. I look at my denominators, they match. 4 plus 6 is 10. Again, my top number is bigger than my bottom. So let's see what this looks like. If I pull it apart, this means that I have whole number 7. In order to have a whole, I need 8 out of 8, and I definitely have enough for that. And if I take that 8 away, 10 take away 8 is 2. So I could say that if I add these two together, 7 wholes plus 1, 7 plus 1 is 8, and 2/4. Now, if you took this even a little bit further and you simplified, you could say that this is the same as 8 and 1/4. Either of these are what I'm really looking for. This is math magic major bonus points, okay? Let's take a look at our next one. We have nothing plus 5 is 5. Our denominators match, bring it over. 2 plus 1 is 3. If I need 3 pieces to make a whole, and I have all 3, this is the same as saying 5 plus 1 whole, which gives me 6. So this is your first answer, and this is simplified. Both of those I would love to see. Coming over here, still adding, just put it up and down. 8 plus nothing is 8. My denominators match, bring it down. 3 plus 2 is 5. Let's bring this over here. 8 and 5/4 is the same as 8 and 4/4, which gives me a whole, plus 5 minus 4 is 1. If I put these together, I have 9 and 1/4. Okay, so this is your first answer. This is simplified. Coming down here, 6 plus nothing is 7. My denominators match, bring them down. 1 plus 1 is 2. Let's bring it up here and look at what we have. We have 7 and 2/2, which is the same as saying 7 plus 1 whole, which is 8. This is our first answer. This is simplified. Over to the last one for this page. 3 and nothing is 3. Let me move that. There we go. My denominators match, bring them down. 4 plus 3 is 7. 3 and 7/5 is my first answer, but I can simplify it. If I have 3, I need 5 to have a whole. 7 minus 5 is 2. 3 plus 1 whole is 4. Bring my 2/5 with me. This is our first answer. This is simplified. Questions? Bring them with you to class. All right, friends, let's look at our next page. We're doing the same thing, but this time we are finding the difference, which means that on each of these problems, we need to subtract. So if you are doing these pages one after the other, make sure you're switching your thinking. Let's subtract. 8 minus 0 is 8. My denominators match, bring them over. 3 minus 4, I can't do that. I have to borrow. But let's think back to what we did on that last page. When I borrow, that means I'm pulling out 1 whole, not 10, 1 whole. What does a whole look like in this problem? Well, if I have a whole, I have all 12 pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this 8, let me change my color so you can see it, into a 7. And we're taking that 12 out of 12 and bringing it over here. 3 plus 12 is 15. So when I borrow, I now have 15 over 12. 15 minus 4 I can do. That's 11. Let's rewrite. 7 and 11 twelfths. 7 and 11 twelfths. All right, let's take a look over here. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring over my denominator. 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 1/8 is our final. Let's check this one. Can I subtract my fractions? 1 minus 2, I can't do. So I need to borrow. My 5 becomes a 4. How much is a whole? A whole has 5 pieces. 1 plus 5 is 6. Now I can subtract. 4 minus nothing is 4. Bring over my denominator. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 and 4/5. Let's check. Can I do 9 minus 8? Yes. So let's start. 8 minus nothing is 8. Denominator down. 9 minus 8 is 1. 8 and 1/10. Over here. Can I do 4 minus 5? No, I borrow. 9 becomes an 8. How much is a whole? A whole is 6. 4 plus 6 gives me my new fraction, which is 10. Now I can work. 8 minus nothing is 8. Bring down my denominator. I'm sorry, this should be a 6. 10 minus 5 is 5. My answer, 8 and 5/6. Over here, can I do 1 minus 3? No, I need to borrow. 7 becomes a 6. If there's 4 in a whole, I'm going to give it 4. Let's rewrite. 1 plus 4 is 5/4. Now I can subtract. 6 take away nothing is 6. Bring down my denominator. 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 and 2/4. If I simplify this, I could say 6 1/2. Any questions? Bring them with you to class. All right, see faces back to adding. Remember, when we're adding, we want to simplify. We want to simplify. So let's start. 6 plus nothing is 6. My denominator is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. I know that if 4 make a whole and I have all 4, that's the same as saying 6 plus 1 whole, which is 7. Over here, 4 plus nothing is 4. My denominator is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. If 3 make a whole and I have all 3, this is the same as 4 plus 1, which gives me 5. Went a little too far. This one, we go back and forth. Now we're subtracting, so be careful. Can I do 9 minus 7? Yes. 3 minus nothing is 3. My denominator is 10. 9 minus 7 is 2. If I simplified, I could say 3 and 1/5. Over here, can I do 5 minus 25? No, I need to borrow. Be careful on this one. 9 becomes an 8. There's 100 in a whole. 100 plus 5 is 105. So just rewrite that. 8 take away nothing is 8. My denominator is 100. 105 minus 25. You might have had to write this out, and that's fine because there's some borrowing. 105 minus 25 is 80. If you simplified this all the way down, which I don't expect you to, but just in case, if you simplified this all the way down, it would be 8 4/5. I would love to see you get to here. Okay, would love to see you get to here. Let's take a look at our next set. We're back to adding. Nothing plus 6 is 6. My denominator is an 8. 5 plus 4 is 9. 8 makes a whole, and I have 9, so I'm going to break it down. 6 plus 8 out of 8, which is a whole, and 9 minus 8 is 1. 6 plus 1 is 7, and 1/8. Okay, last one on this page. Back to subtracting. Let's check. Can I do 3 minus 4? No. 7 becomes a 6. How much is in a whole? 5 plus 3 is 8. 6 minus nothing is 6. My denominator is 5. 8 minus 4 is 4. 6 4/5. Any questions? Bring them with you to class. All right, so faces another mixed practice. We have some subtracting and adding. This time they are up and down, okay? Remember, when we subtract, we always want to check our fractions first to see if we need to borrow. So let's do that. I'm subtracting. Can I do 3 take away 2? Yes, I can. So let's begin. 7 minus nothing is 7. My denominator's a 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. 7 1/4. Coming over here. Can I do 2 minus 5? No, I need to borrow. 6 becomes a 5. How much is in a whole? A whole is 6. 2 plus 6 is 8. Now I can do the work. 5 take away nothing is 5. My denominator's a 6. 8 take away 5 is 3. So I could say that this is 5 3/6. If you simplified it, you could say 5 1/2. Question number 3, we're subtracting. Can I do 7 minus 5? Yes, so I can jump right in. 3 take away nothing is 3. 8 is my denominator. 7 take away 5 is 2. I could say that this is 3 2/8, or I could simplify it to 3 1/4. Again, if you're not doing the simplifying, that's okay. That is a scaffolded skill, but since some of our friends are trying it, I want to include both answers, okay? We are adding, so let's jump in. 8 plus nothing is 8. Our denominator is a 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. If I have 8 3/3, that this is the same as 8 plus 1, which gives me 9. Because remember, if I need 3 to make a whole, and I have all 3, that means I have the whole thing. For my friends who like to see pictures, that's saying 3 make a whole, and I have 1, 2, 3. So I would say that I have the whole thing, or I could add 1. I have 1 whole. All right, 2 more on this page. This next one is adding. The last 3 are adding. 9 plus nothing is 9. My denominator is a 10. 3 plus 5 is 8. 9 8/10. For my friends who simplify, 9 4/5. Last one for this page. 1 plus nothing is 1. My denominator is a 12. Oh, changed my colors. 9 plus 11 is 20. Let's take a look at this one, because this one, we ended on a big one on this page. 1 20/12, which means I can break this down to 1 1 whole, and 20 minus 12 means I have 8 left. I could put the, Let's connect the right ones. I can put these together and say that I have 2 and 8/12. If I simplified, I could say 2 and 2/3. Any questions? Bring them with you to class. All right, loves, our last page is working on word problems. Want to make sure we're reading these carefully. These are next level thinking. So if these felt hard, that's okay. They're supposed to be making you think. Remember, every day we spend together now is a day closer to 5th grade math. So let's start off with looking for some important words. It says that Beth is making chocolate chip cookies. Her recipe calls for 1 1/2 cups of white sugar and 1/2 of a cup of brown sugar. How many cups of sugar does her recipe call for? So I need to ask myself, what are they asking me to do? And what numbers are they giving me to use? Because I am a word problem detective. They are asking me to use 1 1/2 and 1/2. They want to know how many cups there are all together, which tells me to add. 1 plus nothing is 1. My denominator is a 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 and 1 whole is the same as 2. So altogether, I need 2 cups. Glenn has a piece of wood that is 9 2/3 feet long. If he cuts off 4 1/3 foot, how much wood does he have left over? So this is telling me that I'm using 9 2/3 and 4 1/3. When I see the word left over, that tells me to subtract. Check my numerators. Can I do 2 minus 1? Yes. So let's begin. 9 minus 4 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1, and it is a third. 5 1/3. Lindsay is measuring her end table and got 2 5/10 feet, but she over measured by 6/10. How long is her table actually? If she over measured, that means that she measured too much. We need to take away the 6/10. Let's check our denominators and our numerators. The denominators match. Can I do 5 minus 6? No. I need to borrow. How much is in a whole? 10 plus 5 is 15. Now I can subtract. 1 minus nothing is 1. My denominator is a 10. 15 minus 6 is 9. The table is actually 1 9/10 feet. On to my friend Dylan. After a party, Dylan had 2/3 of a cherry pie and 1 1/3 of an apple pie left over. He wants to know if the leftovers can be combined into 2 pie pans. Explain. Well, let's see. If we have 2/3 of a pie and 1 1/3 of a pie, we need to decide if it will fit into 2 pie pans. So we need to add them together and make sure that they are less than anything over 2, right? 2 or less. So thirds is our denominator. Nothing plus 1 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 1 and 1 whole is 2. Can we put it into 2 pie pans? Yes, we can, and it will fill it up all the way. Down to the bottom here, we're talking about Russ. He walked 2 4/6 miles on Monday and 1 2/6 miles on Tuesday. How far did he walk altogether? So I'm using 2 4/6 and 1 2/6, and altogether tells me to add. 2 plus 1 is 3. My denominator is a 6. 4 plus 2 is 6. If I have all of my pieces, I can add the whole. 3 and 1 whole is 4. He walked 4 miles all together. Remember, labels are super helpful. Last one, we're talking about Nicole. Nicole has 1/8 of her spaghetti left over after bringing 3 4/8 containers to her weekly family dinner. How much of the spaghetti did everybody eat? Well, with this one, this is a little tricky because I switched the numbers on you. She started with 3 4/8. She has 1/8 left. I want to see how much they ate. Can I do 4 minus 1? Yes, let's begin. 3 minus nothing is 3. My denominator is an 8. 4 minus 1 is 3. They ate 3 3/8 of her spaghetti. Any questions? Bring them with you to class.